Where's the Dragon? By Jason Hook. Illustrated by Richard Hook and told by Miss Baldry. This is an interactive story which is designed to be heard over a series of days. Each page has chances for you to pause and discuss, as well as an activity for you to attempt. Please enjoy the story and let your imagination improve it. Where's the Dragon? The author is the person who wrote the book, and he's called Jason Hook. The illustrator drew the pictures, and he's called Richard Hook. They have the same surname. I wonder if they're brothers. I can see a brown, scaly dragon. He looks like he's just blown some fire because he's got smoke coming out of his nostrils. He only has some thin, spiky teeth, and a dog is sitting next to it, so maybe he's a friendly dragon. I can see a man and a boy on top of its head. I wonder why they're there. I wonder if they know that they're on top of a dragon's head. Maybe they're looking for a dragon, because the title is Where's the Dragon? I think the man might be the boy's granddad because of his white hair. They are wearing odd clothes, so I think maybe this book is set in the past. They look like they're on a walk. I wonder where they're going. I predict that the boy and his granddad are going to go on an adventure to find a dragon. What do you think? Can you draw 3 pictures and write a few sentences to describe what you think will happen in the beginning, the middle, and the end? This is what would happen if you were the author, so you can't get it wrong. Why not discuss it with your grown-up or brother or sister first, before you get going? Let's have a look at the back cover. Back covers usually have blurbs which tell us what the book is about. Let's see what this one says. This is a story about one man, one boy, one dog, and their hunt for an enormous old dragon. Enjoy the story and then see how many dragons you can find along the way. Oh, that sounds like fun. Shall we get started? Where's the Dragon? I love the illustrations on this book. They are hidden dragons on every page. Hit pause as you go along and count how many dragons you can see on each page. I can see 9 on this page. Can you see more? There's that boy again. He's walking over a bridge by a village. I wonder if that's his village. Which house do you reckon will be his? I think the village is in the countryside because I can see hills and mountains in the background. The smoke from the chimneys comes from fires inside people's houses. Before there were radiators and heaters, people had fires to keep them warm. I can see that the smoke is going straight up, so it means it's not windy today. There is a dragon weather vane on top of the tall roof, which tells us which direction the wind is blowing. Wonder if that means it gets windy in this village. I've got so many questions, don't you? Let's go see if we can answer them. Oh wow, look how many dragons are on this page. How many can you see? I can see a red one in the kite, a brown wooden one looking at the boy, and a tiny brown one just above the dog's head, so that's 3. Oh no, wait, there's one in the vise on his desk, so that's 4. And, oh, there's one in the window. That's 5 that I can see. Oh, I missed one. Can you see it? It's the one just under the dog's mouth. How many mice can you see? I can see 3. I hope they're friendly mice. Well, the boy and the dog don't seem to mind, so I think they probably are. There are lots of objects made from wood in this picture, and there are wood shavings on the floor. There is a workbench with some tools to the side. So I wonder if that's a carpenter's workshop. A carpenter is someone who makes things out of wood. The wood shavings on the floor probably come from slicing off thin amounts of wood to make something. I wonder if this is the boy's workshop, or his grandfather's. What do you think? The boy looks as if he's daydreaming. What do you think he's dreaming about? I wonder if it's dragons. There seems to be a lot of them on this page. Do you know what that weird looking thing above the boy's head is? It's an old-fashioned lamp. Before they had electricity to turn on the lights, people would burn candles and oil lamps. Inside the bronze bit, directly above the boy's head, would be lots of oil and a little wick. This is a bit like a thick piece of string. They would light the wick with a match, and the oil would keep it from burning up and keep it going for a long time. This would make a flame, and it's better than a candle because it would be bigger and emit more light, so you could see more in the dark. Let's read the text. Each and every year, on the first day of summer, little George hurried off to visit his grandfather. It says hurried off, so it means he went quickly. I think that this boy must like his grandfather very much if he's trying to get there quickly. The old man had a dog named Meg. Oh, that's his grandfather's dog. Hi, Meg. Meg is probably a girl's name, so I think she's a girl dog. The old man had a dog named Meg and a workshop full of wonders. Oh, that's why the boy is looking like he's daydreaming. It's a room full of wonders because his granddad could carve anything in the little boy's imagination. He could carve anything George asked him to. Kites, clocks, flutes, fiddles, and wonderful wooden dragons. If it was your grandfather, what would you want him to carve for you? Could you draw a picture and then write a description using some adjectives about what it would look like? Is it red, green, pink? Is it tall? Is it short? Is it rough? Is it bumpy? Is it smooth? Why would you want grandfather to carve that for you? What would make it special? Oh, look, that must be George's grandfather. I recognise him from the front cover. Do you? He's holding some tools over a wooden sculpture. I think he's working, making a dragon's head. I can see an ear and an eye. Can you? I think he must like to work after dark because there are some candles which have been burnt and scattered around the workshop. How many can you see? I can see 3. Oh, and one little mouse. I wonder if he's as fascinated in the grandfather's work as George is. I can see lots of wonderful sculptures around. I think the grandfather made all of them. What can you see? I can see a cuckoo clock, a puppet, a train, a guitar, and an aeroplane. Can you write a list of the things that you can see using a comma after each word? How many dragons can you see now? I can only see 3 on this page, but there's more on the one we looked at before. Don't count them twice! As he carved, Grandfather told amazing stories about an enormous old dragon who lived in the mountains. His tale seemed so real that George felt he could almost see the dragon. Wow, that grandfather must tell amazing stories for the boy to almost see the dragon. I would think he uses lots of adjectives to describe what was happening and what things looked like. Words like red, yellow, bumpy, smooth, shiny, tall, short. They're all adjectives. Can you think of any adjectives? Why don't you draw a dragon and then describe it using adjectives? Then you could hide the picture from someone else and read them what you've written. They could draw what they think your dragon looks like from your description. Then you can compare them. Do they look similar? How could you have improved your description to make their picture look more like yours? Have fun! Oh wow, look at that boat the grandfather's standing in. That's magnificent. There's so much detail. I wonder if the grandfather carved it. There are dragons carved into it. Can you see them? George is giving his grandfather an umbrella and a piece of paper which is all rolled up. I wonder what's on the paper. Maybe it's a letter. What do you think it could say? Could you write what you think it says? Don't forget your full stops and capital letters. Or maybe it's a map. What do you think it could be a map of? Could you draw a map? First, you'll need the village. You'll need the river and the sea. You'll need some houses, some mountains, and possibly some dragons. What else do you think you'd include in your map? Once you've finished, you need to mark X as the spot where they need to get to. And you need to draw George and his grandfather in the boat where they are near the village at the moment. Can you draw the journey they need to make? Using time conjunctions, first, next, then, after that, finally, can you describe the journey that George and his grandfather will need to take? For example, first, get onto the rocky boat and sail slowly down the beautiful blue glistening river. Next, take a left, the dark, spooky green forest. Be careful not to get scared. After that, pull the boat ashore on the sparkling sandy beach. Jump out of the boat and let the sand go between your toes. Then climb the brown, stony lane all the way up the hill to the top, where you can see for miles around. Finally, look for a dark grey cave and enter cautiously. Be careful, there might be a sleeping dragon inside. Can you see George? He's standing on a pier. A pier is a long, thin platform that goes from the land to the sea to help people get onto boats. Boats need enough water to float on, and if we pulled them on the ground, they might get stuck. So it's easier if you can make a pier that people can walk along. That means that the boats can stay afloat. Have you ever walked along a pier or even seen one? I wonder what else is on the pier. Can you see? It looks like a telescope, which is used to see things which are far away. It's got a drink, a bag, maybe that's full of food, or treasure, and a jug, maybe that keeps something warm. Oh, maybe they're going on an adventure. Oh, how exciting! I think Meg knows. Do you see she's on her way down? I think she wants to get on the boat. Do you think they're going to let her? How many dragons can you see in the picture? I can see 9. Or maybe more. Have a look really closely. This year, as grandfather finished his tales, George asked, "Do you think perhaps I'm too old to believe in dragons?" "Seeing is believing," cried grandfather. "It's time I took you on a dragon hunt." Oh, so they are going on an adventure to find some dragons. He asked George to carry all sorts of strange things down to his boat. A telescope, an umbrella, a magnifying glass, and an ancient yellow map. Oh, I didn't see a magnifying glass. Maybe it's in his pocket, or on board the ship already. And it was a treasure map. Oh, this is going to be exciting. Finally, Grandfather put on a hat with a long, fluffy feather. This, he chuckled, is my dragon hunting hat. Look at all those smiling dragons. They've got moustaches and they look so friendly. Can you see a dragon in the sea? Or the one in the rock? Where else can you see them? Oh, I'm so happy that Meg is on the boat. She looks so excited to be going on an adventure with George and his grandfather. I hope she's going to be safe. Oh, I can see other animals on this page too. There's a heron on the rock on the bottom left. You know, the one with the long legs? And I can see a family of 3 white swans swimming to the waterfall. Oh, and an owl that's flying away. Wonder where he's going. Off they sailed to hunt for the dragon. George was so full of questions. It was a wonder he didn't burst. Is he a big dragon? Asked George. As big as the sky, roared Grandfather. He must be easy to see, said George. Oh, no, not at all, said Grandfather. To see a dragon you must hunt high and low, and always believe hard enough. What questions do you have about the dragon adventure? Write them down in a list, starting with a bullet point and a capital letter. End each question with a question mark. On the next line down, put another bullet point, start your question with a capital letter, and finish it with a question mark. How many questions can you write? Oh look, the sky's black now, so I think it must be night. There are also those little flecks of white. What do you think they are? Oh, maybe they're stars. The rocks have changed colour too now. Now they're blue. I think this is because the sun has gone down and there isn't very much light to see things anymore. Have you ever been in the dark before? What could you see? What did it feel like? Can you see that dragon in the rock with one eye open and the other shut? I think he's spying on George and his grandfather. What do you think? Oh, and there's that owl again. I wonder if he's going to join in with the journey. When night fell, they tied up the boat and found a nice place to sleep. As they settled down on the riverbank, George, Grandfather and Meg stared up at the dark sky. Look, Grandfather, whispered George, pointing up at the stars. What's that winking in the sky? Ah, yes, sighed Grandfather. What a beautiful moon. What do you think George is pointing at? Do you think it's the moon? Why do you think Grandfather said it was the moon? Do you think he could see what George could see? Or do you think he's too old to see it? Too scared? Or maybe he's just pretending not to see it. What do you think? Can you write a sentence starting with a capital letter and using the conjunction because? I think the grandfather cannot see the dragon because he is too old and his eyesight is very bad. Now it's your turn. Oh my goodness! Are you seeing what I'm seeing? That looks like a dragon's sharp claw. And it's going up from his foot, up his leg. Is that his tummy? Oh my goodness, are they sleeping under a dragon's tummy? Do you think they know? I wonder if they saw it before they went to sleep, or if it crawled on them while they were sleeping. They all slept well. They all dreamed of dragons. And Meg snored so loudly that the ground seemed to shake and shudder. Do you think it was Meg's snoring that made it shake and shudder? Or do you think it was something else? What do you think is going to happen next? Can you draw a picture and write a description using first, next, then, after that, and finally? And if you can, how about using a conjunction like and, so, but, or because? Good luck! Phew, no one got hurt. I wonder if they even knew that they'd slept under a dragon. In the morning, Grandfather's boat had vanished into thin air. Had Grandfather's boat really vanished into thin air? What makes you think that? Have you seen what's in the dragon's mouth? I recognise that blue and white fabric. That's the sail from the boat and the anchor. That naughty dragon. What do you think it's done with their boat? Was it the dragon? George wondered. Not at all, grumbled Grandfather, who was a little short-sighted. Short-sighted means that he cannot see things which are very far away. So maybe he just couldn't see what George could see. Anyway, dragons always leave footprints. Hang on. I can see a footprint, can you? Do you think Grandfather spotted it? What do you think he would say if he could see the dragon and spotted the footprint? Can you draw Grandfather and write a speech bubble of what you think he might say? Maybe you can do more than one speech bubble. He could say lots of different things. You never know. How many dragons can you spot in this picture? Do you think that's a path they're walking along? It's scaly and got big lumps on it. Doesn't look like a normal path to me. Also, it's going over a river. Can you see it down in there in the distance? Bridges usually do that, but then they have legs which attach it to the ground. This one doesn't. Oh no, it couldn't be a part of a dragon, could it? And dragons always live on mountain tops, said Grandfather, striding off up the path. A tail! A tail! George cried, trying to catch up with the old man. We've no time for tales, puffed Grandfather. There's a dragon to hunt. Why did Grandfather say they had no time for tales? Oh, there's two types of tails. A tail like Meg has, that she wags when she's happy, and a tail like a story. They're spelt differently, but Grandfather wouldn't know because they're talking. Ooh, what's Meg spotted? Hey, can you see that owl again? Do you think he knows it's a dragon? What do you think he'd say if he could speak? Can you draw the owl and draw some speech bubbles saying what you might think he would say to them if he could speak? Fire! Where's all that fire come from? Oh, I hope they're safe. Did dragons breathe fire? Panted George. Not at all, wheezed Grandfather, taking off his dragon hunting hat and mopping his brow. My, but it's hot today. Why was Grandfather wheezing? Wheezing's when you find it hard to breathe. Maybe it's because they walked up a long hill? Or maybe it's because the fire is burning all the oxygen in the air, making it difficult to breathe. Why did he say it was hot? Do you think Grandfather's noticed what's going on? Can you see the owl? He's all black and he doesn't look very happy either. What do you think's happened to him? I think maybe his feathers have got burnt and singed in the fire. Oh, look! Meg spotted something. What's she spotted? How many other dragons can you see on this page? How many do you think Grandfather's seen? Why do you think that? Can you write a sentence? I think Grandfather has seen dragons because, and then you can tell me why. You could also do this for George and Meg, and possibly the owl. Oh, there's that owl again. Oh, he looks better now. He's gone from being black back to brown again. As they reached the top of the mountain, George was sure he believed in dragons. He pointed and shouted, "His eye!" "Yes, it is high," said Grandfather, who was just a little hard of hearing. "Dragons always live up high." Top of the mountain? What kind of mountain's that? Mountains don't have hair or eyes or even a nose. I think Grandfather needs a hearing aid because he can't hear what George is saying. Where do you think dragons live? Can you draw a dragon's home and describe it? Where would it be? What would it have in it? Don't forget to use those adjectives, those describing words, to make your description really exciting. Oh, Grandfather, stop! What is he doing now? They look like teeth to me, and I really hope that isn't a tongue. The mouth! Shrieked George. Of a cave! Shouted Grandfather. So that's where the dragon's hiding. And with that, he leapt into the darkness, waving his umbrella about his head. George yelled out. Meg barked, but it was too late. Why was Meg barking? Oh, to warn Grandfather to stop. What do you think George was shouting? What do you think's going to happen next? Can you draw a picture and write the end of the story as if you were the author? And make it as exciting as you can. Perhaps it was dragon hay fever. Perhaps it was a dragon cold. Most likely, it was the long, fluffy feather on Grandfather's dragon hunting hat. Whatever it was, it made the dragon sneeze, a sneeze that shook the mountain. Quite a breeze blowing, bellowed Grandfather as he somersaulted over their heads. A breeze? A breeze is a gentle wind like you get on a warm summer's day. That doesn't look like a breeze to me. It's not Grandfather over. It looks strong enough to be a hurricane. So why did Grandfather say it was a breeze? Do you think Grandfather knows what's happening? Where do you think he's going to land? In a tree? In the sea? In a giant puddle? Draw a picture and tell me all about it. The dragon hunt was over. Next year we'll hunt higher and lower and believe even harder, cried Grandfather. Then we're sure to see the dragon. Of course, chuckled George, holding Grandfather's hand and winking at Meg. After all, seeing is believing. I don't think Grandfather saw any dragons at all. When George says seeing is believing, I think that he means that grandfather couldn't see the dragons because he didn't believe in them. You can only see dragons if you believe in them. When you get older, it's harder to believe in things you haven't seen, and that's why he couldn't see them. What do you think? How many hidden dragons have you seen in this book? If we go back to look at grandfather's house, on the door is the number 76. Can you find 76 dragons in this book? Good luck counting. Did you enjoy that book? I know I did. I really liked the fact that George could see the dragons and his grandfather couldn't. Even Meg could see them all. Did you manage to find all 76 dragons? I didn't. Maybe I'll have to go back and count again. If you've got any work, why not send it in to your teacher? Or send it to your family? Maybe if your friends have done it too, you could compare your answers to theirs. It might be very different. Okay, look forward to seeing you soon for another story time. Thanks for watching. Bye!